Hey, good evening, everyone. Seeing as it's 6 o'clock and we're all gathered here, I will open up the meeting and with the election of officers. So I'll ask if there is a mover for a nominee for the chair. Councillor Boehm?
Sure, I'll move Hutchison for chair.
Excellent. Hutchison, you accept the nomination? Excellent. Seconder? Councillor Osanek. Any other people wishing to step forward or nominate? All right, seeing none, I'll close the nominations and call the question. All in favor of Councillor Hutchison elected as chair? Opposed? That carries. And we'll also do the nomination for vice chair. So, Councillor Osanek.
I nominate Councillor Boehm.
All right, Councillor Boehm. Excellent, good sport. Councillor Hill seconds. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Seeing none, I'll close that and call the question. All in favor of Councillor Boehm as vice chair? Opposed? Carries. And I will turn over to the chair, Councillor Hutchison.
Dressed in black. Put on the ballot. The art room. So, I'm calling the meeting to order, I guess. Okay, calling the meeting to order. And approval of the agenda. Councillor Osanek, you're moving it? Okay, it's seconded by Councillor Boehm. Any subtractions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Oh, wait. I have one item I want to add under notice of motion. No, not notice of motion, just other business, excuse me. TET Center. It's just an information thing, piece, okay? Nothing to do with the Juniper campaign. Okay.
I was going to ask.
No. Right. I'm not that kind of masochist. Okay. Okay, so all those in favor of the agenda? Again, sorry. Agenda, gentlemen? Okay, it passed anyway. Never mind that. Okay, confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting?
No minutes because it's special.
Right, that's right. We're special tonight. Yeah, okay. So special. So, delegations. Okay, no disclosure. Delegations, none. Briefing, yes. Kirsty Hanako? Is that how you pronounce it? I'm close enough, am I? Maybe you don't shoot me. So, and Felix Lee. Oh, okay. Are going to present to the committee. So please proceed.
Thank you. We're going to stay casual.
He doesn't have the authority for that, but that's okay.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the speak with you about the proposed revisions to the Kingston Arts Council Plan for Administration of Arts Funding for the Corporation of the City of Kingston in 2019. As per our service level agreement with the City of Kingston, the Kingston Arts Council is charged with the administration of the city's arts fund. We take this responsibility very seriously, and we're very proud to have grown a strong and supportive relationship with the city in the service of our vibrant arts community here in Kingston. The Board of Directors of the Kingston Arts Council maintains oversight of KAC staff and their administration of the Arts Fund, and the KAC provides quarterly CCAF reports to Cultural Services. Each year, we gather feedback from all stakeholders with the goal of refining the plan for administration for ongoing improvement. This feedback is collected throughout the grant cycle, including through regular feedback discussions with applicants. In addition, on the 11th of September 2018, the KAC hosted a Grants Committee meeting to review the CCAF process. The Grants Committee included the jurors for both the operating and project grant streams, Colin Wigginton in his position as Cultural Director, and KAC staff. Danica Lockie, then Executive Director of the KAC, Felix Lee, our Grants Coordinator, and Diana Gore, who is our Administrative and Communications Officer. Based on this feedback and our insights as administrators of the Arts Fund, the KAC has proposed several revisions to the Plan for Admin for 2019. The majority of these revisions are linguistic changes intended to ensure that the plan for admin accurately reflects current procedures. The proposed plan for admin 2019 was approved by the Arts Advisory 14th, with a few minor revisions as outlined in the report. The revised plan was subsequently approved by the KAC's Board of Directors at their meeting on November 22nd. So I'll review the 5 major recommended changes that we hear, and then Felix, Lee, and I would be happy to answer any questions or provide further detail if you so wish. So number 1, the first change, eligibility criteria for operating applicants now includes that first-time applicants must book a formal consultation with the KAC Grants Coordinator before March 15th, 2019, in order to be eligible for the 2019 CCAF program. This stipulation is meant to ensure that applicants are well informed about their program and their eligibility, so that qualified applicants have the best chance of completing their application as per the guidelines and before the deadline. This also ensures that unqualified applicants do not move forward in the application process, and allows time for redirection to the project grants stream or to funding streams outside of the City of Kingston if they are a more appropriate fit. Change reflects best practices in all arts councils and other granting agencies throughout the province with a similar program as CCAF. Number 2, both operating and project applications must include artist fees as an expense in order to be considered eligible. This recommended change reflects the intention that the City of Kingston arts funding help with the sustainability of arts professions here in Kingston. This intention is already outlined in the program's assessment criteria. Number 3, it is recommended that for recurring projects, any information submitted to the KAC through applications and reports may be shared with a jury as additional information as they adjudicate future applications for the project or for operating grants should the group move into the operating stream. This will allow the KAC to provide applicant history in the jury room, which is already procedure for the operating grants program. This history is often to the benefit of the applicant in demonstrating the quality of their work and their operations. The KAC will implement this change by expanding the recurring projects section of the application and verifying that self-reporting from recurring applicants is consistent with information submitted in the past. Number 4, definitions have been added for the terms access, diversity, and inclusion. Applicants have struggled to define how their organization or project supports these CCAF priorities. Jurors felt that applicants didn't seem to understand what juries were looking for in this regard, and applicants frequently asked us for more information about this application question. It is hoped that these broad definitions will be a tool to help applicants strengthen their applications by providing more thorough responses. These definitions were drafted by consulting those used by other arts programs and best practices from other funding organizations. And the 5th of the major changes is that language has been added to reflect that it is the Kingston Arts responsibility to enforce the decisions of the jury, and that the KAC has the discretion to recommend to the city a review for potential withholding or withdrawal of funds should there be changes to a project or organizational operations that differ significantly from what was described in the application adjudicated by the jury. The KAC is responsible for ensuring that funds are used only for the activities described in their application. And this addition simply formalizes a practice that's already. Additionally, we have recommended some clarifications of language addressing requirements for collectives, eligibility of project applicants, and the definitions of partnerships and corporate sponsorships. We've also made 2 additions to reflect the correct procedure for how CCAF funds are distributed. So at this point, our grants coordinator, Felix Lee, and myself, any questions?
Thank you. Are there any questions of the persons briefing the committee? Any questions at all? Well, seeing none, I guess that's fine. It was a pretty complete report. We have the document after all. Okay, moving on to item 8A, approval of the Kingston Arts Council Plan for Administration of Arts Funding for the Corporation of the City of Kingston in 2019. The staff, I think staff probably feels it is, but do they have anything else they'd like to add? Mr. Wiegand.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity to have the special ARC committee meeting this evening. With the change in the schedule for this, it was going to potentially have an impact on the ability of the Kingston Arts Council to deliver this program on the timeline that the grant recipients anticipate from year to. We appreciate you making yourselves available this evening so that we can have this discussion and seek your approval so that the program can continue forward in the ways that it has in the past. And Kiersey has provided a good summary of the changes. And I just want to say that it's always a valuable process. This is one of continuous improvement from year to year, that we have the opportunity to engage with stakeholders to review the program. It strengthens it, and it's improved tremendously in the decade or so that it's been functioning. And we also appreciate the support of the Arts as another channel through which we can get input that we can capture as part of this process. And finally, I will just introduce, because it's been raised, our new colleague Danica Lougheed, who joined Cultural Services in September of 2018 as the manager of sector development. It's an exciting evolution for us as a department because a lot of that work is the stuff that I've been handling, and it's great to have someone of Danica's experience joining our team, and she was here last year in a different capacity, as she was the executive director of the Kingston Arts Council at that time. So if she does seem like a familiar face, that is why, but we're very pleased to have her as part of our team now moving forward.
Thank you. Councillor Osanek.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I guess there is one question. So for the 10-year review of the arts funding program, it says that it's been delayed, and since we're in a new term of council, do we have what year it might be done, or still to be determined? Do you think that review would happen during this term of council?
Chair, and apologies if it wasn't clear in the report that was brought forward. The plan was to do it at the 10-year mark in 2017, and for capacity reasons we weren't able to do that, but the review is actually scheduled for 2019, and that's work that's going to be getting underway shortly. The original plan was to do just the City of Kingston Arts Fund, but we are doing it now as a combined effort with the City of Kingston Heritage Fund, so both are being reviewed at the same time.
Anybody else, any questions? I've got a couple. If I can find them. I've got a couple of questions, and not about the changes, actually. And if I knew the answers, I've forgotten them, and I thought, well, there'll be new people here, so maybe I'll prick their interest by doing this. So they're just on the objectives of the Arts Fund. That is, ensure the arts funding aligns with that of comparable municipalities. I know we've done that, but are we aligned with comparable municipalities? I believe there's about 13 of them or something.
In response, Mr. Chair, that is a piece of work that's going to be done in relation to the review, but certainly anecdotally, we've heard over the evolution of this program that in many ways it not only meets but exceeds a lot of other funding programs, both in terms of the level of financial support but also the rigor of the program. It was originally built on a model developed by Council, so the bar was set high at the outset, and it has continued to improve, but we will be certainly coming back as part of that larger review process to give a more accurate accounting both of how it compares procedurally as well in terms of financial support.
Thank you. I asked that partly because at one point we weren't keeping up with inflation, it seems to me. So then we corrected it, right?
If I may just add to that point, one of the recommendations in the plan was that we achieve a certain per capita level of funding per resident, and at the time that the Kingston Culture Plan was approved in 2010, it was recommending a level that I believe was, well, I'm not going to remember the per capita amount, but that the overall amount was $586,000, and we have achieved that level, or we will achieve that level with the pending approval of the 2019 budget.
Great, thank you. Another question in that same section. When you talk about bring provincial, national, and international recognition to Kingston as a center for arts and culture, what has to be achieved to to measure that, to actually achieve that. Did I put that clearly? I just wondered what is the measure for achieving.
When those objectives were developed, it was somewhat more aspirational. One of the tasks that does, again, need to come out of this review process is defining some clear measurables that can be used both in terms of gathering data from applicants as well as reporting out. Part of the desire of this program is to make sure that not only does it benefit residents of Kingston directly, but that it's also bringing attention to Kingston as a center for cultural activity, and certainly organizations that we fund through this program, just to select a few, for example, the Agnes Etherington or the Kingston Writers Fest, they do regularly attract that level of attention as a way of demonstrating the cultural vitality that exists in Kingston. So right now it's somewhat anecdotal, but we hope to move towards more concrete measures that we can be reporting out.
Great, thank you. So I'm glad to ask those questions because clearly the answers are not here. So I think one last one. It says the objectives in the arts sector seek professional development opportunities. What have we done in that regard?
The Kingston Arts Council has regularly a robust program of professional development opportunities through their programming, and that's something that we certainly rely on them as a partner in the community to deliver. It's also a regular point of conversation within the Cultural Services Department, and actually there's a working group right now within the Arts Advisory Committee that's specifically at the issue of professional development opportunities. And so part of the CAF in terms of the funding is also recognizing that we want to see culture in Kingston become increasingly professionalized, and one of the changes to the administration plan in 2019, which makes it explicit that artist fees must be paid as part of that changing dynamic as well, to make sure that not only are artists professional, but that they are also being compensated for their work appropriately.
That's these number of references to artist fees.
Correct.
Correct, okay. Because that was another question. Because obviously there's a lot of amateur whatever going on, so.
If I may just respond to that
sure,
point.
sure.
One of the things that CCAF has always tried to achieve is the professionalization of the arts sector, and funding programs like this are critical to that, but it's certainly not meant to suggest a hierarchy of value in terms of amateur recreational pursuit of the arts versus professional pursuit of the arts. And again, that is a topic of regular discussion in terms of how the dynamics are changing within the Kingston context, and that is something that I anticipate we'll be looking at the review as well, is making sure that this is equally accessible to groups that also have a desire to see their organizations grow and change as well.
Okay, one last question. This might be a bit provocative. Size. We give to the symphony and to the Agnes Etherington art thing, and that's a grant, or is that established? I'm not quite sure what the status of that is. But my real question, that would be like me, is real question is, the jury is required to balance the following requirements, which are, and then there are two. Funding the maximum number of high-quality applications, and awarding of grants is sufficient to make a substantial improvement in the operations of the receiving organization. Does that apply to the Agnes and the Symphony? And if so, how?
The administration plan makes it clear as a range for operating grants. I believe it's $20,000 to $75,000 a year. The Agnes Etherington Art Center and the Kingston Symphony Association are part of this program in order to ensure that they are equally participating in a competitive process and are being assessed against other arts organizations within the city of Kingston. So it's never a guaranteed amount, but it's part of the outcome because they do tend to score extremely high, but they also have much larger budgets, and so they receive a significant investment, but it's often actually statistically a smaller percentage of their budget. But something that's always key to arts funding programs is the show of support at the municipal level. That is often extremely important when these kinds of organizations are applying for funding at higher levels of government, provincial and federal. Those agencies put a lot of stock in the levels from the municipality. So I think even though statistically it's a small dollar amount in their budgets, it has a significant role to play in their ability to leverage funding from higher levels of government.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm done. Anyone that provoke anybody? No. So, but anyway, this is just a taste of some of the issues that come up. So I'm going to read which is that the Education and Community Policies Committee recommend that Council approve the revised plan for administration of arts funding for the Corporation of the City of the Kingston Arts Fund in 2019, attached as Exhibit A to report number ARCP 19-001. Mover by Councillor Bohm and seconded by Councillor Neal. I'll just point out there is no public, that's why we didn't go there. Okay, any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Passed, okay. So, 9 motions, none, notices of motion, none, other business. So, I want to put this on because it's just something that I was told the other day, well, tonight actually, by my partner, which I thought staff should hear, which is she went with some friends to a Baroque music thing in Toronto just last year. And those people, they talked to musicians afterwards. And the musicians said, oh yes, we know about the Isabel Bader Center and the TET Center. And they were really excited it was there. And they said, you're going to get some real quality productions there. And of course, that's turned out to be true. and that I think in the upside of this story is that that word is out there. And so you're succeeding. And it's in much bigger centers. And that people will want to come and do that. And the only part of it was attached to a statement of how we need a attractive cafe. Okay. It came with that. And there I stopped. Okay, so that was just my little anecdote on. And 12, there's no correspondence. The date and time of the next meeting is February 28th, 19. And do we have a mover or adjournment? Councillor Hill, seconded by Councillor. I don't think there's any, it's not debatable. So all those in favor?